What's up everybody, this is Betty Garza, your local realtor right here in South Florida with EXP Realty. And today we are going to be talking about 6 tips that you should consider when buying a new construction home right here in Florida. And we're getting at it right here. If this is your first time to my channel, you are welcome to hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, which is weekly. If you're looking to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, playing, and living, working in Florida, then this is the channel for you. I post a video every week about different information when relocating right here to South Florida. I am getting text messages, emails, pigeon carriers, smoke signals every day, and me and my team absolutely love it. Myself and my team specialize in helping people relocate right here to the South Florida area. Okay, so let's get into it. The 6 tips when buying a new construction home, and stay tuned for the last one because that's the most important. Okay, so 6 tips. I work backwards, so let's start at number 6. Okay, so tip number 6 is hire a professional. You want a realtor just like myself or anyone on my team right there next to you when purchasing that new construction home. It starts from the day you visit that sales center. You have to have your realtor right next to you. Now, we'll take you through the process. We'll make sure that you're asking all the right questions and that they're giving you all the information you need when buying a new construction home. And this is important because there are certain things that the representatives at these new construction sites, they are very hyper-focused. Sometimes they are super busy, so they just kind of run through it. And if you're definitely a first-time home buyer or you're new to the area, you're gonna want someone there next to you to make sure that you get all the information you need. Not just a sales packet and not just, here you go take a look at the models, pick one and get back. You wanna make sure that you know the process and you have somebody there with you. That is the very first step, one of the most important. All right guys, if you hear a lot of rain in the background, it's because right now, we are mid-November of 2022. I don't know exactly when you'll be watching this video, but we're currently inside. It's raining cats and dogs outside because we are waiting for Hurricane Nicole to make landfall. It is making landfall tonight. It's gonna be an overnight storm. So if you hear the rain, it's already started. I said, why not record a video now while we're just sitting inside waiting for the storm to pass by. It is a category 1, so hopefully not too much damage. The west coast of Florida recently did just get hit by a much bigger hurricane. We just hope they all stay safe. All right, so tip number 2. Tip number 2 is research the builder. There are different builders that are out there, and especially right here in South Florida now, because we've had so many people move to this area, so the demand and the construction has definitely increased. When going and visiting these new construction sites and these different neighborhoods that are being built, it is super important to research the builder. Research them online. You'll want to see, maybe visit a different neighborhood that they've built in the past. There's so many of them out there. Of course, you're gonna read good reviews and bad reviews, though you probably wanna look at the most recent information that you find. So making sure that you go with a reputable builder. There are different builders and some out there that kind of build at the mass, and you'll see that their reviews online definitely show some, more bad reviews than good reviews. So you'll definitely, want to look into that. And depending what you're building the house for. Some people are moving here to South Florida and they're building their primary home, one that they're gonna live in, one that may be their forever home, or at least for the next 10 years. So definitely look into that. Or maybe you're building something for investment. So maybe you're looking for something on the lower end of the construction price range, and one that is that mass builder maybe is not such a bad concept for you, but definitely know exactly what you're looking for, what kind of investment you're making, and look into that builder and make sure they are going to meet your needs. There are so many different neighborhoods going up in the area. One part that is about an hour north of here, which is Port St. Lucie, the city of Port St. Lucie, they have a lot of builders going up there, but they don't necessarily build by the neighborhood. necessarily like here in Palm Beach County. Here in Palm Beach County, you'll see a lot of communities going up. Though in Port St. Lucie, the way that it works there a lot of the time, there are neighborhoods and communities going up there too being built, but you can also find a builder that is building just single homes in different parts of the city. I've worked with some buyers where they find a lot if the builder doesn't have one already, and the average lot size in Port St. Lucie is about a 1/4 acre. So you purchase the lot and you bundle it with your mortgage for the home. And this is all can be done through the builder. And so you find the empty lot, you take the price of that and the cost of what it takes if it's got trees in it, if it needs to be cleared, if it's not already, and you take that and you find the builder that you want to build the home with. And they can build you a single family home on a single lot, not necessarily in a community, because then you have no HOA, which I know a lot of people are looking for. But here in Palm Beach County, you see more of the community builder neighborhoods. I find that a lot of them have decent association fees that are monthly fees that go into it too. So researching the builder and exactly what they do is very important when considering new construction. Okay, tip number 3 is looking at the base price. Now, when going with new construction, when you're driving by and you see those signs that say ranging from the 300s, the 400s, and your luxury price point in areas and neighborhoods, you'll see that they start about 1.1 in this area, 1.1 million. And remember, that is the base price. That is without any upgrades. That's not picking out a different level of cabinets, countertops, maybe updating the bathrooms, updating your floors. If you want absolutely no carpet throughout, because most builders will put carpet at least in the bedrooms and only tile in the common areas. Or if you're one that you want like maybe the plank tiles or marble or the larger squared tiles other than the 12 by 12 or 10 by 10, which is standard. There is standard and there is upgrades. When looking at new construction, remember what they advertise is most likely the base price without any upgrades. You definitely want to consider that. That's kind of like the starting point. So also with new construction is remember the premiums. The premiums are in regards to the actual site of where your lot or where your home will be built within the community. Now, I've made other videos such as an example of a new construction community that's being built here, which is very popular in Palm Beach County, is Westlake. So when you go to Westlake, the base prices of the home, and it doesn't include the lot price of which is the premium. The premiums there begin in the upper 30,000s, and that's usually no waterfront. And it only includes, because they have different selection of homes, different models, you can only build certain collection or certain models on the smaller lots. The larger lots, which is where your premium goes up, is where you can build the larger homes. So knowing those things up front is definitely important when considering new construction, and knowing the difference of standard and upgrades that will cost you more, and knowing exactly what upgrades you probably should consider if you are on a budget. If you want to stick to a certain monthly payment every month with your new home, then you probably should discuss what upgrades are most important now that might cost you more if you waited instead of doing it now when the home is being built. An example of that is I helped a couple in Westlake go to the new construction site. They built their home and they were on a budget. They knew exactly what they wanted to spend a month. They knew exactly what they had to put down, and for upgrades, extra money that they had for that. So of course, when you go to their showcase, you can go crazy. I mean, they have different levels of cabinets, different levels of floors, different level of countertops, everything. And you literally, those costs can add up. So having a budget before you go there is definitely important. And for her, she knew that later on, she didn't want to go through the struggle of changing the common areas, the certain floors. If she went with the cheaper tile or the option that was a little less money, and then upgrading later, she knew that she didn't want to do that. So she knew that getting the floor now that she really wanted was something important. Also the bathrooms and kitchen. And remember, those are also things that are going to give you more money if you decide to resell later on down the road. And again, that's why it's important to have a real estate agent on your side next to you when making these important decisions. So that brings me into tip number 4. are the upgrades. So when you go into these showcase rooms, just remember that it is important. I kind of skipped a step too quickly, but going in with a budget and knowing those upgrades. So the example that I said, she knew that later on she wasn't going to want to go through the hassle of updating her kitchen and bathrooms. So that was something that she did. And knowing the different levels and kind of coming to a compromise, if it's not just with yourself, but maybe with your partner. What we did is that we visited the showcase. She wrote down all the upgrades, what it would cost, and then she kind of eliminated some of the stuff that maybe she could do later to bring it down to the budget that she had in mind. So that's something that you can do as well. And also having a realtor on your side, negotiating maybe some of these upgrades is super important. So maybe the new construction site or that company doesn't necessarily want to negotiate the base price, right? They're pretty, stern, and they'll stick to those prices, but negotiating maybe a credit at closing or a credit towards those upgrades. Maybe there's something that you absolutely can't live without, and yet you don't have the extra funds to make it happen. Or maybe you've hit your budget and there's just one more thing that you want. Negotiating those things with the builder is definitely something that is possible. And sometimes there's programs the builder will offer, such as first responders, teachers, police officers, nurses, and myself. What I do is if I know that I have a client coming into town, I make the calls to the different builders in the different areas that maybe we've kind of honed down into, and I know that you're interested in. I'll call the new construction places and see if they have any specials or any offers or programs that are happening in the time that you'll be in town, and have that up front. And that way we know when we get there to mention that they did mention a program, they did mention credits, things like that. It'll just make the process easier, faster, and seamless. Tip number 5 is you may want to consider getting pre-approved with the preferred lender of the builder. Why is this important? You're thinking, I'm already pre-approved. I have somebody that has done mortgages for me in the past. I have somebody that I've been working with. Why would I want to change? The thing is that when you are looking at new construction and the builder has maybe 1, 2, or 3 preferred lenders, is that with that, they will offer you incentives. And they have preferred lenders because these are lenders that they work with every day, ones that know their process and know the steps that are taken to get you to the closing table. It makes it a lot more seamless process with the preferred lender to the builder. They're usually on site, and if they're not, they're usually about a phone call away. Some could be maybe a local bank or just a mortgage company that is national. I've dealt with both. I've had clients tell me that it definitely was a seamless process, and they really did enjoy working with those preferred lenders. So I've gotten some good feedback when it comes to that. And sometimes you just want to take advantage of those perks. And unfortunately, your current lender can't always match the perks that are given. I recently had a couple that bought in Port St. Lucie, and the perks that the preferred lender was offering were so good that they went back to their lender that they were already pre-approved with and asked if they could match what that specific lender was doing. Unfortunately, in that case, the lender that they were pre-approved with couldn't match, and they actually told them, you should definitely take advantage of that and go with that specific lender. And remember, if you aren't able to go with your current person that you're pre-approved with, then maybe later in the future, when you have friends and family that are asking for somebody and maybe they're not going new construction, you can refer that person back to that lender. Definitely taking advantage of the perks with the preferred lender of the builder is something that could definitely be beneficial, especially right now. We're in November of 2022, and the interest rates are hovering around the 6.95 range. That is high for some, and in others that have been buying homes for a long time, you know that it's still at a low rate. Though there are different options that a lender can offer you, such as a 3-2-1 buy down, a 2-1 buy down, or a 1-1 buy down, or actually getting credits from the seller or the builder to then buy down your rate at a permanent rate. So those are things that we can definitely talk about. And don't forget, there is a link below if you want to set up a one-on-one with me to go a little, dig a little deeper. Maybe there's something in this video that I didn't touch base on. Click on that and I would love to chit chat with you. Okay, so here we are, we're down to the last tip. I told you this would be the most important because it is. Tip number 6, you definitely want to prepare for delays, okay? Look at us now. We're currently waiting for a hurricane to make landfall, okay? Things like this, like things of nature that we cannot control, do put delays on things like building, new construction, getting material, getting things built, getting things up, maybe a permit. You know, the permits go through the specific county. Who knows how far behind they are. Those are people that will not be able to work tomorrow, so that's another day delayed. Things like that do happen. So you definitely want to prepare for a delay in the process. I've done new builds with private companies. I've done them with big companies. And every time, almost every time, probably 90% of the time, we did not close on the predicted date in the beginning, okay? So that does happen. You do want to be prepared. Now, when setting up your moving company or, you know, setting up the day you're going to move into town, make sure that you're with a company that can be a little flexible if you're using moving truck, packing people, things like that. I always tell people, which I know they're a little bit more expensive, but it is doable, maybe something like a pod where it's not a moving truck that is specified for a specific day, but maybe a pod that you can kind of pack, and that company can be flexible as far as maybe if it's a week, 2 weeks, or maybe even a month later than what you predicted, but it's flexible because it's there, it just needs to be picked up. So things like that, be prepared, especially if you're making a big move from like the Northeast or California. We've had a lot of people move from those areas, and I know those are big moves. So definitely be prepared for delays in the process. And remember, who represents you matters. So when hiring a realtor, you want somebody with experience, somebody who's done this before and knows what questions to ask and what to look out for. So if you found this video useful, don't forget, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so that you're notified every time I post a new video, which is weekly. And it helps get this information out to others like you that are looking to relocate or move to Florida and need more information. And I'll see you guys next time.